When an EMP hits, your phone becomes a paperweight, and your car a metal box. Everything electronic will be useless. But what if I told you that for less than the price of a coffee, you could own the tools to not just survive, but thrive? We've uncovered 10 incredibly cheap items that are completely immune to an EMP blast. These simple, everyday objects will be worth their weight in gold when the grid goes down for good. Stay with me, because the item at number 6 is the one critical tool nearly everyone overlooks. Before we begin, tell me in the comments below, have you seen prices for basic goods rising in your area? Let's see how widespread this is. Now let's get into the gear that will keep you going. 1. The key to your stockpile, the manual can. Opener, imagine a pantry filled to the brim with canned goods, hearty soups, preserved vegetables, and protein-rich tuna. This stockpile represents weeks or even months of food security for your family. Now imagine that same pantry after an EMP has struck. Your electric can opener is a useless paperweight. Without a simple mechanical way to open those cans, your life-sustaining food supply is nothing more than a collection of sealed metal cylinders, their contents locked away while hunger sets in. This is where one of the most overlooked but critical survival tools comes into play, the manual can opener. Its purely mechanical design, free of any circuits or batteries, makes it completely invulnerable to an EMP. It is the simple, reliable key that unlocks your entire food reserve. The importance of this tool is underscored by a growing reliance on non-perishable foods. According to recent USDA reports, households are storing more canned goods than ever, a trend that accelerated during the pandemic and continues amid economic uncertainty. While this foresight is commendable, it's dangerously incomplete without the means to access that food. In a long-term crisis, a well-stocked pantry is useless if it's inaccessible. The frustrating and potentially fatal irony would be starving amidst plenty. Experienced survivalists understand this vulnerability and advocate for redundancy. They recommend having multiple high-quality canopiners, one in the kitchen, a durable one in your bug-out bag, and another stored with your emergency supplies. This ensures you're never caught without the ability to eat. Furthermore, rising inflation and persistent supply chain issues are already affecting the cost and availability of even these basic items. What was once a dollar store staple is now creeping up in price, and during a panic, these tools will be among the first to vanish from shelves. A quality stainless steel opener is not just a purchase. It's a multi-decade investment in your ability to feed your family when modern conveniences are a distant memory. 2. Pocket-sized fire, the disposable lighter. In any survival situation, fire is life. It provides warmth to stave off hypothermia, light to push back the darkness, a means to purify water, and the ability to cook food, making it safer and more digestible. When an EMP event plunges society into a pre-industrial state, the ability to create fire on demand will separate the survivors from the statistics. While many imagine themselves heroically rubbing sticks together, the reality is that creating a friction fire is an exhausting, skill-intensive process that is often unreliable, especially in wet or cold conditions. Matches are a better option, but they are finite and susceptible to moisture. The ultimate EMP-proof fire starter, however, is the humble disposable lighter. This small plastic tool, often taken for granted, becomes an object of immense value in a world without electricity. Its genius lies in its simplicity. A disposable lighter contains no electronics, no microchips, and no components that an EMP can damage. It is a self-contained system of flint, steel, and fuel that produces a reliable flame with a simple flick of the thumb. Recent data shows a significant surge in lighter sales, driven by an increasing interest in outdoor recreation and preparedness. This trend highlights a growing awareness of their utility, but it also signals that they will be a high-demand item in a crisis. Prices are already on an upward trajectory, and in a widespread emergency, they will disappear from store shelves almost instantly. A tool that costs less than a cup of coffee could be the deciding factor between a warm meal and a cold, dangerous night. Survival experts recommend stockpiling at least a dozen lighters from reputable brands known for their reliability. Storing them in waterproof bags or containers will protect them from moisture and ensure they work when you need them most. Having these lightweight EMP-proof fire starters distributed among your home, vehicle, and emergency kits is one of the smartest and most cost-effective preparations you can make. 3. Beacons in the dark, candles and oil lamps. The immediate aftermath of an EMP will be defined by an absolute and unnerving darkness. Once the sun sets, the world will be plunged into a blackness that few in the modern era have ever experienced. Our reliance on electric light is so complete that most homes would be rendered nearly uninhabitable at night. Flashlights and LED lanterns, even those with fresh batteries, will likely have their sensitive circuits fried and rendered useless. In this profound darkness, the psychological toll can be as debilitating as the physical dangers. This is where ancient time-tested lighting solutions become indispensable: candles and oil lamps. These simple, non-electric technologies are completely unaffected by an EMP and provide the most essential resource in a grid-down world: light. Candles are the ultimate low-tech lighting solution. They are inexpensive, easy to store, and provide a steady source of light that can transform a dark, intimidating space into a livable environment. Beyond illumination, a few candles burning in a small, enclosed area can generate a surprising amount of ambient heat, helping to ward off the chill on a cold night. Oil lamps offer a significant upgrade, burning brighter and for far longer than a typical candle. A well-maintained kerosene lamp can illuminate an entire room for hours on a single fill of fuel, providing a stable and reliable light source for cooking, reading, or maintaining watch. The key is to prepare properly. The decorative scented candles many people have around the house are insufficient for a real crisis. They burn too quickly and offer poor light. Instead, you need to stock up on bulk packs of long-burning emergency candles and acquire several sturdy oil lamps along with a safe supply of fuel and spare wicks. The cost of these items is already rising due to inflation, and waiting until a disaster strikes will mean facing empty shelves. Securing your supply of non-electric lighting now is a crucial step in preparing for a world where flipping a switch no longer brings the light. 4. The unpowered shield against the cold: wool and fleece. When modern infrastructure collapses, it is often the most basic environmental threats that prove deadliest. An EMP will instantly neutralize heating systems, electric blankets, and the entire supply chain that delivers heating oil and natural gas. In this scenario, the cold becomes a relentless and silent killer. Government data reveals that hundreds of people succumb to cold-related illnesses like hypothermia each year, even with functioning utilities. Now consider a winter where that number is magnified by a powerless populace. The 2021 Texas winter storm, a multi-day blackout, resulted in over 240 deaths, offering a terrifying glimpse into what a prolonged nationwide outage could look like. Surviving the cold post-EMP has nothing to do with technology and everything to do with fundamental, non-electric insulation. This is where your stockpile of wool blankets, fleece layers, and thermal clothing becomes one of the most critical components of your survival plan. These simple items, often found for next to nothing at thrift stores or on clearance racks, are completely immune to an EMP. Their value is derived from their material properties, not from any electrical component. Wool, for instance, is a miracle fiber for survival. It insulates even when damp, is naturally fire-resistant, and it's incredibly durable. Fleece provides excellent warmth for its low weight and dries quickly. Layering these materials is a time-tested technique for trapping body heat and creating a personal microclimate that can keep you alive when indoor temperatures plunge to match the outdoors. The rising costs of these goods, with wool blanket prices climbing nearly 30% recently due to global supply issues, are a clear indicator of their growing perceived value. During a real crisis, these items will not just be expensive, they will be unobtainable. Pre-disaster panic buying will strip shelves bare in hours, leaving the unprepared to face a freezing night with nothing but bed sheets. Stockpiling them now is a low-cost, high-impact preparation that directly addresses one of the most immediate threats in a grid-down world. 5. The offline brain: physical books and printed guides. Our society has outsourced its collective knowledge to the cloud. According to Pew Research, over 90% of Americans depend on their smartphones for information, meaning that fundamental survival skills, from starting a fire to purifying water or navigating without GPS, are just a search query away. An EMP would instantly sever that connection, plunging billions of people into a state of profound ignorance at the very moment they need critical information the most. Every downloaded guide, every YouTube tutorial, and every digital map will vanish. In this new reality, knowledge itself becomes a tangible resource, and the most reliable way to store it is in its original analog format, the printed word. Physical books, paper manuals, and printed survival guides are impervious to an EMP. They require no power, have no circuits to fry, and can't be wiped by a solar flare. They are, in essence, a hardened backup drive for your brain. The demand for this tangible knowledge is already on the rise. Sales of books on self-reliance, homesteading, and survival skills have surged, and the prices for used copies are climbing steadily. This trend reveals a growing unease with our digital dependency. An individual with a printed field guide on edible plants or a manual on basic first aid holds more practical power than someone with a PhD whose entire library just disappeared. Stress and panic have a way of clouding judgment and erasing memory. Having a step-by-step guide to follow can provide clarity and confidence when you're under extreme pressure. Beyond skills, consider navigation. The recent resurgence in paper atlas sales, reversing years of decline, shows that people are waking up to the vulnerability of GPS. A stack of local and regional maps could be your only reliable tool for travel or evacuation. These forgotten relics of a pre-digital age are currently cheap and abundant. Stockpiling them in waterproof containers is not just about collecting information. It's about preserving your independence and your ability to think and act effectively when the digital world has been silenced. 6. The last currency standing: physical cash in small bills. In the moments following an EMP, as the scope of the blackout becomes terrifyingly clear, society's intricate system of digital commerce will evaporate. Every credit card reader, ATM, and online banking app will cease to function. The wealth stored in your bank account, represented by numbers on a server, will be completely inaccessible. In a world where over 64% of people use cash less than once a week, this digital shutdown will render most of the population financially paralyzed. The recent past provides stark warnings. During widespread power outages like the 2021 Texas freeze or after Hurricane Maria in Puerto Rico, businesses that could open immediately reverted to a cash-only policy. Those with physical money in their pockets could buy essential supplies, while those relying on plastic and apps were left empty-handed. In the initial chaotic phase of a grid-down crisis, physical cash will be the only universally accepted medium of exchange. The key to wielding this tool effectively lies in the details. A wallet full of $100 bills will be nearly useless when no one can make change. In a crisis, liquidity is king, and that means having a substantial stash of small denominations. Ones, fives, and tens will be the workhorse bills for purchasing water, food, fuel, or medicine while supplies last. Survival experts recommend keeping several $100s in small bills, sealed against moisture and distributed between your home, your vehicle, and your bug-out bag. This ensures you have immediate access to purchasing power no matter where you are when the grid fails. While it's true that in a prolonged collapse, society will eventually shift to a barter economy, where tangible goods like tools and ammunition become the new currency, cash will be the critical bridge that gets you through the first few days or weeks. It provides the flexibility to acquire what you need, while others are still grappling with the reality that their digital wealth has vanished. Having a modest emergency fund in physical cash is one of the most prudent and actionable steps you can take to prepare for the immediate economic shock of an EMP. 7. The power in your hands. Basic manual tools. In a world built on electric convenience, we have forgotten the raw power of manual labor. Our homes are filled with power drills, electric saws, and countless corded gadgets that will become nothing more than dead weight after an EMP. When the grid fails, the ability to build, repair, and fortify your surroundings reverts to the simple, robust tools that built civilization itself. A basic non-electric toolkit is not just a hobbyist's collection. It is a fundamental pillar of self-reliance. Recent market trends already show a quiet shift in consumer behavior. with sales of hand tools climbing as people subconsciously seek reliability over high-tech convenience. This indicates a growing awareness that when the lights go out for good, a hammer, a handsaw, and an axe will be infinitely more valuable than the most advanced power tool. They are the instruments of adaptation, the means by which you can impose order on a chaotic environment. Consider the aftermath of large-scale natural disasters like Hurricane Katrina, where communities were cut off for weeks. Families who possessed basic tools were able to make immediate life-saving repairs, patching roofs, clearing debris from pathways, and securing their homes. Those without were left exposed and dependent on aid that was slow to arrive. An EMP event would replicate this scenario on a national scale, but without the prospect of organized relief. Every task, from fortifying a window to chopping firewood or digging a latrine, will depend on the tools you have at your disposal. This is why the rising cost of simple steel tools like axes and shovels is a critical warning sign. What is an affordable hardware store purchase today will become a priceless, unobtainable artifact in a post-EMP world. The prepper's essential toolkit is straightforward: a heavy hammer, a sharp handsaw, a durable axe or hatchet, and a sturdy shovel. Adding a manual screwdriver set and a hand-crank drill expands your capabilities exponentially. These items allow you to build shelter, secure your property, and solve physical problems that would otherwise be insurmountable. 8. The ultimate insurance policy: heirloom seeds and garden tools. The modern food supply chain is a technological marvel of logistics, refrigeration, and just-in-time delivery. It is also incredibly fragile. An EMP would sever this chain at every point, halting transportation, spoiling refrigerated goods, and rendering industrial farming equipment useless. Supermarket shelves, which operate on a 3-day supply cycle, would be stripped bare almost overnight. In a matter of days, the focus for millions would shift from what to eat for dinner to how to find anything to eat at all. In this grim reality, the single most powerful act of defiance against starvation is to create your own food source. This is where heirloom seeds and simple garden tools transform from a backyard hobby into the foundation of long-term survival. A small sealed packet of non-hybrid seeds is an EMP-proof promise of future sustenance, a biological blueprint that can turn a patch of dirt into a life-sustaining pantry. The mathematics of survival are starkly in favor of gardening. The money spent on a few cans of food or a single loaf of bread, which provides fleeting sustenance, could instead purchase thousands of heirloom seeds. That initial investment doesn't just provide one meal. It provides a continuous harvest and the ability to save seeds for future planting, creating a truly self-sufficient food cycle. But seeds alone are not enough. Without the proper tools, gardening is an exhausting and inefficient struggle. A simple hand trowel, a sturdy hoe, and a reliable watering can are the non-electric implements that make cultivation possible when tractors are silent and electric pumps are dry. Like hand tools, the cost of these basic gardening implements is rising, driven by steel prices and supply chain volatility. Waiting until a crisis hits to acquire them is a fatal mistake. The time to learn, to practice, and to build your seed bank is now, while they are cheap and available. In a world where food becomes the primary currency, a pouch of viable seeds and the knowledge to make them grow will be worth more than gold. 9. The timeless trio: salt, honey, and vinegar. History offers profound lessons in survival, often hidden in plain sight on the bottom shelf of the grocery store. Entire civilizations were built on the trade of salt, a mineral so valuable that it was used as currency. Honey, discovered in ancient tombs and still perfectly edible after millennia, has been a source of food and medicine since the dawn of humanity. Vinegar, a simple acidic liquid, has been used for centuries as a preservative and disinfectant. In our modern age of refrigeration and pharmaceuticals, we have forgotten the immense power of this timeless trio. After an EMP, when the technologies we rely on for food preservation and hygiene are gone, salt, honey, and vinegar will reclaim their status as indispensable survival commodities. They are cheap, widely available today, and, if stored correctly, their shelf life is virtually infinite. Salt's primary role in a survival scenario shifts from mere seasoning to critical preservative. Without freezers or refrigerators, the ability to cure meat and fish with salt is the only way to store protein long-term. It prevents spoilage and allows you to preserve a large hunt or a fortunate catch, providing food security for weeks or months. Honey is a true miracle of nature. It is a dense source of calories, an energy booster, and a potent natural medicine. Its antibacterial and antimicrobial properties make it an ideal dressing for wounds, burns, and infections, a crucial function when modern medical supplies are exhausted. Finally, vinegar serves as a powerful multi-purpose tool. It can be used to pickle and preserve vegetables from a garden harvest, extending your food supply. Its acidic nature makes it an effective disinfectant for cleaning surfaces and equipment, and it can even play a role in making questionable water sources safer. The rising cost of these basic commodities is a subtle but clear signal. Acquiring them now in bulk is one of the most cost-effective and high-impact preparations you can make. 10. The foundational skill: redundant fire starters. The ability to create fire is one of the most fundamental skills that separates humanity from the rest of the animal kingdom. In a post-EMP world, it will once again become the dividing line between survival and suffering. Cold is a swift and efficient killer, and without modern heating, hypothermia becomes a threat even in relatively mild temperatures. Fire provides warmth, but its utility extends far beyond that. It is the tool that purifies water, making it safe to drink. It cooks food, unlocking nutrients and killing dangerous pathogens. It provides light in an otherwise total darkness, sterilizes medical instruments, and offers psychological comfort in a world defined by fear and uncertainty. Given its central importance, relying on a single method for creating fire is a gamble you cannot afford to take. The core principle of fire preparation is redundancy. The most accessible and reliable EMP-proof fire starters are disposable lighters, waterproof matches, and a quality flint and steel. Each has its strengths and weaknesses, which is why owning all three is critical. Disposable lighters offer instant flame with minimal effort but can fail or run out of fuel. Matches are simple and effective but are useless when wet. A flint and steel, or ferrocerium rod, is the ultimate backup. It will generate a shower of hot sparks in any weather condition, indefinitely, but it requires skill and proper tinder to translate that spark into a flame. Stockpiling these items is incredibly cheap, yet their value in a crisis is immeasurable. The regional blackouts of the past have shown that fire-starting tools are among the first items to disappear from shelves. The prudent survivor not only stockpiles them, but also distributes them across their home, vehicle, and various emergency kits, ensuring they are always within reach. More importantly, they practice using them. Owning a flint and steel is useless if you've never tried to start a fire with it in the rain. Mastering this foundational skill now, while the stakes are low, ensures you can perform when your life depends on it.